And welcome back to the continuation of our 21-day Matomo Cloud tour. In the last video we covered the overview report, as you can see here, and in this video we're going over the visits log. So here we have the visits log from the Matomo demo. You don't need to worry about seeing actual people's data here. This is all fictitious data generated by a plugin developed by the Matomo team, so everything here is fake, not from a real person. Just for a bit of context, this data is for a fictitious dive shop, so any data in here is related to diving or buying diving equipment. You might be in a part of the world where you think seeing the visit information for each visitor is too much information, and all you really want to see is the aggregated reports of all the visits, and in that case you can completely disable the visit log in the admin area of Matomo. When you disable the visits log underneath the visitors reports, the visit log will no longer be available and you'll just have the aggregated report data. The visits log isn't live, so it doesn't keep on ticking over when new visits happen. If I wanted to see the latest data for this report, I'd have to just refresh the page and then the most recent visit would appear at the top. With the visits log itself, you can almost break the visit into 4 sections. We've got sort of an acquisition area over here, some more details about the customer's device and specific actions they've done during their visit. The actual actions themselves, so every single action step by step. On the far right here we've got a link to the visitor's profile. Generally we'll work from the left across to the right, and we start off with something pretty straightforward. It's our visit time and date, and also the tooltip gives us some interesting information about the last time this visitor came to the site, which is 7 days ago. Below that we've got the IP address of the visitor. This isn't the actual IP address of the visitor. Matomo by default removes the last 2 digits of the IP address for privacy reasons. If you wanted to be able to block this user by IP address, this isn't the IP address you would use because these 2 digits have been removed and replaced with 0. It is possible to track the entire IP address via the admin settings, but it's important to note that knowing the date and time the visitor came to the site and their full IP address gives you the ability to track down that user, which isn't really compliant with privacy regulations. If you're on an intranet or something and this data is never be from the outside world, you could set this to display the full IP address because it's not really important probably in your intranet whether you know the full IP address or not, and the information might be useful for your troubleshooting. Underneath the IP address we've got the location, and this location is based on the MaxMind database. So the IP address is checked with their database and then an approximate location is provided. Sometimes MaxMind gets it wrong and it doesn't have the right location. If you find that and you know the full IP address, by all means reach out to MaxMind and get them to update their database to the correct location. Down below that we've got some acquisition data. This visitor has come from Reddit, and below that further we've got a custom dimension. We'll be covering custom dimensions in another video, but essentially Matomo might not record all the dimensions that you want and you need to create your own, and this is where they'll pop up in the visit. So we'll just have a look further down for some more visits and see if we can find some different information. This one here, the referrer was this website, more social networks. This is a visit from the Quant search engine. The Quant search engine has provided the exact keywords the visitor used to find the site. This is very unusual and not really expected in general. For example, if we go down to Google here, we've got keyword not defined. 99% of your keyword results from search engines will be keyword not defined because Google no longer provides search keywords. Matomo does have a tool which lets you import the keywords used in Google into Matomo, and we'll be covering that in a later video, but you should just know for now that most of the time, almost all the time, the keywords won't be defined when the referrer is from Google. And if we had any campaign parameters that also appear on this side, to let us know what campaign brought the visitor to the website. Moving further across, we've got some details about the visitor's device. First off, we've got this icon here which tells us that this visitor has been to this site several times before, 40 visits in total. They're using Chrome, Windows, and on a desktop device. Also below here there'll be some special actions that the visitor has completed. For example, we've got a checkout cart here, and we can see that the visitor has purchased an item. Scroll down a bit further and see if we can see any others. This one here means that the visitor has started or entered into a funnel. We use funnels to optimize our website, which we'll also cover in another video. Funnels is a premium feature with Matomo. Further down, this person's entered into 3 funnels. This visitor has converted a goal, so we can see the little flag here. And if we check our goals report, we'll be able to see the performance of this particular goal for all our visitors. So this section here gives us a quick overview of what the devices the visitor has used and some important actions they completed during this particular visit. Moving across further, we've got all the actions that the visitor performed in the visit, with the first action being at the top and the last action being at the bottom. So we can see that this particular visitor entered the dive shop, check their account orders, perhaps they've got something they added to a wish list, gone back down to the shop and gone to checkout and purchased their particular item. This visitor here, which we noticed earlier, who's converted a goal, they clicked on an outlink. So this icon indicates the visitor clicked on an outlink to another website. It's obviously a goal that's been created. So when everybody clicks on an outlink, the goal will be converted. Perhaps the outlink was to a new tab, because it looks like even though they went to the outlink, they also continued the visit for a few more actions. Further down, we can see this number 2 and the circle, and this means the visitor for some reason has reloaded the same page twice. Perhaps it didn't load properly the first time around, or they were trying to update what was on the screen. If you get this a lot, like for every particular visit, you might want to check out your tracking code implementation, because you should only really have 1 action per page view. Here they've had 2 for this particular page. Scrolling back to the top again, and over the far right with the visitor profile. So here we can investigate all this visitor's visits in the past. So here we have the visitor's last 12 visits and all the actions within those visits. On the left hand side, we've got the details of their device, and as we saw earlier, their visitor ID, and we can export this data if we wanted to. Just a summary of their behavior on the website, any custom dimensions that have been set, their first visit and their last visit. Both of these have been from Reddit by the looks of things, and just about year on year. And they've always visited from a desktop. And if we click on the show map, we'll be able to see exactly where they've come from. Click on it again to zoom out, because I didn't quite know where that was. Up the top right here, we can hide and show all the actions if it's too busy for us. This link will take us to a guide which gives us a few more details about how this report works, and of course we can just close out. If we scroll right down to the bottom, we've got a rows to display button here. So if we wanted to see more visits on this page, perhaps we want to knock it up to 50, it'll go away and grab another 25 visits to show to us. We've got pagination, so we can go through and choose the next 50 and the following 50 after that. And down on the bottom left here, we've got the export option. We can export the data and to investigate offline. I won't cover this particular feature at the moment. There'll be another video up here shortly that goes in detail about each of these different options. That's a quick overview of the visits log. Next up, we'll have a look at the real-time log.